How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of barrel. Not just one barrel. 2 barrels, son. Double barrel aged. Belgian style triple. Hopeful goodness in the form of Czigmeister Brewing's Paragon of Light. I don't believe I've had this before. I love me some Belgian beers, but I do skew a little bit more favorable towards the dark stuff, you know, quads and doubles. Actually, one of my favorite barrel-aged Belgian beers across the board over the past couple years was a Czigmeister beer. It was their, God, I forget the name of it. It was a double barrel. Oh, God. I forget the name. It's double barrel Belgian dark. Sauvage? I forget. Anyway, regardless, I wanted something a bit of oomph to it, bit of bite. And since we're doing the whole self-isolation thing, all my beers are coming either via curbside pickup or direct delivery to my house. Czigmeister does delivery straight from the brewery. I was going through their barrel-aged stuff, and I was like, okay, they had a couple barley wines. I'm not the biggest barley wine guy when it comes to Czigmeister, but I do like their Belgian stuff, and I saw this. Yeah, gonna dive into it and see what's what. So we'll see how it's going. Testing out a new microphone. We'll see how this works. And one of the things I've actually been doing in this whole kind of self-isolation lockdown thing, because I've been working from home pretty much for about 6 weeks now. But by the time this airs, probably even longer, is actually upgrade my studio. More for live podcasting, because I've been doing a lot of live stuff as of late. And that includes kind of setting up a mic. I actually can't see it. There's a microphone right here. I hung a microphone. I actually have the good microphone coming. It's from my Zoom H6 right now. And setting up a bunch of different things. I'm actually used to record via a lavalier mic that was attached to my glasses. When you guys used to sit there and be like, my God, this guy huffs his beer like he's snorting cocaine. That was because the mic was right next to my nose. Now when you hear me huff this, it's not going to be nearly as violent. But alas, we'll see what's what. Label-wise, it's alright. You know, it reminds me a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. That's where a lot of Czigmeister labels kind of land. Not a big fan of them, but this one's not too poopy. And, I mean, looks like a Belgian triple to me. I mean, you're talking about a barrel. You expect a little bit of a darker beer to come out of there, but that's not necessarily the case. You know, they say double barrel. They actually say what's what. There's a story. We should read it. Paragon Light is a Belgian-style triple ale aged 6 months in bourbon and sweet red wine barrels. Okay, that's the other beer. I believe it was red wine and bourbon, too. Ooh, this straw-colored ale has a bright vanilla and oak nose with notes of vanilla, golden raisin, and very light ester characteristics, rounded out by a pleasant shortbread cookie finish. The higher carbonation of this ale is complemented by a dry finish, making this a perfect beer to raise the glass and toast a new year. I'm assuming, based off of that this is 9.3% for those keeping score at home. I'm guessing this is bottled before the new year. They actually don't have a date on this anywhere. Not one that I can see. So, yeah. Probably has a little bit of time on it. We'll see what's what. So the carbonation's not that as soft as they would put it, or sprightly as they would put it. It's rather soft. Let's see if I get a nose. I mean, it's definitely got that red wine, more vinous characteristic, like grapey character, like musty characteristic, as opposed to actual, like the wine itself. There's a little bit of soft bourbon character. There's definitely a little bit of oxidation going on this, too. I don't know if that's from the barrel aging or for being in the bottle. It's not overly sweet. It's got like a nice richness. Almost has like a slightly savory, like umami thing going on. This thing's all over the place. This could be an awesome beer, or it could be a poopy beer, or it could be a beer that's okay, but very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by this sucker. Interesting nose so far. So you get that soft, red, darker grape kind of mustiness. A little bit of that bourbon characteristic. No heat whatsoever. A little bit of soft vanilla. I get that cookie thing they're talking about. A little bit soft barrel char. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. I get, what is it, a shortbread cookie? Man, that is about as spot on as I've ever read anything in my life. This tastes like it doesn't taste like a shortbread cookie. It tastes like a beer that finishes like a shortbread cookie, if that makes any sense. A lot of people try to mimic flavors of whatever, doesn't matter. Hot dogs, chicken, frickin' pastry stouts, cake in beer, it doesn't matter. People try to kind of simulate that, which is fine and dandy. I can get down with those kind of beers. But then there's a lot of beers that don't try to simulate. What they do is just give you kind of hints of those kind of foodstuffs, rather than kind of making you think of those foodstuffs via core for or traditional adjunct ingredients, as opposed to actually throwing those cakes and candies and fried chickens into the beer. And that's where this kind of comes. I don't think they're going for shortbread here. I just think it's a tasting note that they call it on the label. But it's really cool that they call it out, because it's one of the more appropriate, kind of unique kind of call outs on the label. You're going to say juicy and vanilla and all that stuff. People throw that shit out all the time. But a shortbread cookie really kind of lands firmly home with this one. Not overly sweet. It's definitely a triple in soul. I can definitely give it that. It's more beer than anything else. Welcomed. You get a soft little subtle kind of tartness, the way you get it from grape juice kind of tartness, hence that mustiness from that red wine. You get a little bit of kind of roundness and richness with the vanilla, and I believe like that little bit of cherry note adding to like already a Belgian spirit in there from that bourbon. I think the wood plays a big part in here because it dries it out, makes it not as sharp. The vanilla in combination with all those other flavors, I think, is where you're getting that shortbread cookie from. It's tasty, man. This is a really tasty beer. Something that does not suck. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's done really well. I think it's smartly done. I think it's balanced really well. I think it's showy in the right way, but not overly, kind of overtly crazy on top of that. Yeah, I'm a fan. Let's put it that way. Let's talk about it. One of the better barrel-aged Belgian beers. Let's go with that. I don't want to say triples, because this is going to be like number one anyway. One of the better barrel-aged Belgian beers. Can we even go there? Because it's still going to fall close to the top. It's going to be there regardless. Even when we just go to Belgian beers. I dig this beer. It's quite nice. Is it as good as that Dark Sovereign? I actually remember the name. Holy shit, I can't believe I remember the name. Dark Sovereign's the dark that I had that I reviewed that I thought was epically awesome. It's not viscerally as nice as that, but this one's a little bit more toned down, a little bit more reserved. And I kind of appreciate that. So I'm not saying it's as good as that. It's just it's a curveball. It's a change up. It's something a little bit different. It can be just as pleasant in an experience, while not being, chin music, a 99 mile per hour heater to the face. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Value and availability. $11, 500 milliliters, delivered to my door. I'm okay with that. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like Belgian triples, you like barrel-aged programs, you like Belgian triples, you like barrel-aged beers, and if you like Belgian beers, and let's say if you like Belgian triples. I mean, I don't think this is really turn a lot of people on, but I think if you're a wine barrel-aged person, you're a barrel-aged person in general, you like Belgian beers, they tend to be a specific kind of sect of human that likes those kind of beers. I think this is worth giving a whirl. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers, if you want to check me out doing the whole social media stuff. Beer Massive. I do podcasting stuff. You can go check me out talking to Matt from Czigmeister if you want to. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice little barrel-aged, locally born Belgian influenced beer right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.